Hariom, pronounced at the lotus feet of Puja Swami Chinmayananda. A very warm good morning to an and all present here. With hearts filled with joy and gratitude, we welcome you all to the Kanagabudi, the historic Golden Jubilee celebration of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Alappuzha DIVYAVANI 2. Today, we stand at the confluence of 50 golden years of value-based education, cultural enrichment, and holistic growth, inspired by the timeless vision of Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda.
Divyavani. The soulful program is held in the loving memory of Swamini Divyanandaji, the guiding light who led the foundation of our Vidyalaya. A dedicated spiritual teacher, she selflessly devoted her entire life to the service of society and to the cause of educated rooted in values. Divyavani is not just a name, it is a symbol of gratitude, reverence, and remembrance. It is a tribute to a life lived with simplicity, sacrifice, and selfless love. Each year, through this program, we reconnect with her ideals, celebrating the eternal flame of knowledge and compassion she kindled with us.
Every auspicious beginning at Chinmaya Vidyalaya starts with an invocation to the Almighty. Let us commence this momentous day with a soulful prayer by our school choir, seeking blessings for continued wisdom, service, and harmony. Let's invite the school choir for prayer.
सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः चिन्मयव्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं मेरा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
To begin our program, we present a graceful welcome dance from the timeless epic Ramayana, portraying devotion, courage, and triumph of righteousness, values that shine eternally through Lord Rama's journey. Let this performance fill our hearts with joy, reverence, and festive spirit. Welcoming our shining stars of Class 6 for the welcome dance. Thank you, dears. It was a mind-blowing performance, beautifully highlighting the Ramayana. heart. We now invite a leader whose dedication, vision, and guidance have steered our Vidyalaya to its excellence. I welcome Dr. Rekha R.S., Principal, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Alappuzha, to deliver the welcome address. Welcome, ma'am.
Hari Om, and a very warm good morning to one and all. Respected President of the function, Professor Ramaraj Verma, esteemed member of the Board of Management, Chief Guest Sri T.P. Srinivasan, Head of Kerala's Higher Education Council and former permanent representative of the UN and the IAEA, Shri R. Suresh Mohan, Chief Sevak, Chinmaya Seva Trust, Kerala. Sir will be joining us soon. Dr. K. Narayanan, President of the Vidyalaya. Professor Dr. T. R. Anil Kumar, Secretary, Board of Management, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Alappuzha. Brahmachari Sudhish Ji, Acharya, Chinmaya Mission, Alappuzha. Shri Professor Nadumudi Hari Kumar Sir, Secretary of Samasta, beloved Vice Principal Srimati Shrija, dear teachers, Chinmaya Mission members, students and parents. It is a moment of immense pride and joy as we gather today to celebrate the Kanavaditi of Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Alappuzha. 50 luminous years of spreading the light of knowledge and the fragrance of values. Today's celebration is all the more special because it is DIVYAVANI 2.0, a heartfelt program held in the loving memory of Pujya Swamini Vidyananda, the guiding light who laid the very foundation of our Vidyalaya. Swamini dedicated her entire life nurturing young minds with values, knowledge, and love. This celebration stands as a tribute to her selfless service, unwavering vision, and the divine legacy she gifted to our institution. On this sacred day, my heart swells with gratitude and reverence as I extend my heartfelt welcome to each and everyone present here. I am deeply honored to welcome our esteemed Professor Ramaraj Verma, the President of the function, esteemed member of the Board of Management, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Alappuzha. Sir, your wise counsel, invaluable leadership and consistent support have played a vital role in nurturing the growth and the excellence of our institution. It is a privilege to have you among us on this golden day. I welcome you, sir, to this program. I am extremely delighted to welcome our respected Chief Guest, Sri T.P. Srinivasan, a distinguished Indian diplomat, a former permanent representative of the UN and the IAEA, head of Kerala's Higher Education Council, an adjunct professor, and an illustrious retired ambassador. Sir, your exemplary service to the nation, coupled with your inspiring vision for education, stands as a beacon for generations to follow. With utmost respect, I warmly welcome you to this momentous occasion. Welcome you. It is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to our guest of honor, Shri R. Suresh Mohan, Chief Sevak, Chinmaya Seva Trust, Kerala, Trivandrum. As I told you, sir will be joining us soon. I extend a warm and respectful welcome to Dr. K. Narayanan, our esteemed President. Sir, your visionary leadership has steered this Vidyalaya with firmness and foresight. Through your commitment to excellence and the values You have nurtured a culture where knowledge is pursued with devotion and character. With utmost respect, I welcome you, sir. I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Professor Dr. T.R. Anil Kumar, Secretary Board of Management, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Alappuzha, an eminent academician and an able administrator whose wisdom, humility, and dedication to service have earned him deep respect and admiration in every sphere he serves. With deep respect, I welcome you, sir, to this occasion. I offer a cordial welcome to Professor Naduvadi Harikumar, Secretary of Samasta, whose gracious presence adds dignity to this occasion. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. Let me also extend a heartfelt welcome to Brahmachari Sudesh ji, Acharya Chinmaya Mission Alappuzha, whose spiritual guidance and constant encouragement continue to illuminate our path and inspire us to walk in the light of Gurudev's vision. I welcome you, Sudesh ji. I welcome President Chinmaya Mission and all the Chinmaya Mission members who are a great support to us in all our endeavors. I welcome all of you. With equal warmth, I welcome our dedicated Vice Principal, Srimati Shrija P., a pillar of care, dedication and compassion. I welcome you, Ms. Shrija. I also extend my warm regards to all respected members of the Board of Management, my beloved colleagues, the teachers and staff whose untiring devotion keeps the flame of knowledge and values ever bright in our Vidyalaya. I happily extend a heartfelt welcome to the principals and teachers of esteemed institutions who have joined us today for this program. And finally, I extend a loving welcome to our dear parents, well-wishers, and my dreams, achievements, and radiant smiles give meaning to every step we take. Once again, I welcome you all to this function. Thank you very much. Hari.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm words. The program would indeed be incomplete without extending our heartfelt welcome to the guiding light of our Vidyalaya. With immense joy and respect, we offer a grand welcome to our beloved principal, Dr. Rekha R.S. Welcome, ma'am, to the function.
Every milestone deserves words of wisdom to inspire the journey ahead. We are deeply honored to have Professor Ramaraja Verma, distinguished member of Board of Management, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Alappuzha, to deliver the presidential address. I invite you, sir.
Abhyandyanaya Srinivasan Bhagavanapatta Principal Rekhas S. Priyapata Narayanan Sir, Naduvadi Harikumar, Anil Kumar, Vidyasinigalе, Bhagavanapatta Adhyavagane Adhyavikamare. Program schedule അനുസരിച്ച് 11:35 ഇനാഗുറേഷൻ പരിപാടി നടക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. സമയബന്ധിതമായി പോകേണ്ടതുകൊണ്ട് ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട സുരേഷ് ഗോയൽ സാർ അവർകൾ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ സമയബന്ധിതമായി പോകേണ്ടതുകൊണ്ട് പ്രസിഡൻഷ്യൽ അഡ്രസ് വളരെ ചുരുക്കാമെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രയോജനത്തെക്കുറിച്ചും അതുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു ദേശത്തിനുണ്ടാകുന്ന ഉന്നതിയെക്കുറിച്ചും ആധുനികമായ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സമ്പ്രദായങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ചും ഇവിടെ സംസാരിക്കുവാൻ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ടി പി ശ്രീനിവാസൻ അവർ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഭാരതീയ സംസ്കാരമനുസരിച്ച് പരമയിൽ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം അറിവിന്റെ മേഖലയ്ക്കപ്പുറം ഒരു വ്യക്തിയുടെ വികാസത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് നിലകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അധ്യാപകരുടെ ക്രമത്തിലും വ്യത്യാസമുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ശിക്ഷകൻ, അധ്യാപകൻ, ആചാര്യൻ, ഗുരു, ഈ നിലയിൽ അധ്യാപകരെ 4 വിധത്തില് തരംതിരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പഠിപ്പിക്കുക എന്നത് മാത്രം എന്ന ലക്ഷ്യത്തോടുകൂടി ശിക്ഷകന്മാരും കുട്ടികളുമായി ചേർന്നുകൊണ്ട് അധ്യാപനം നടത്തുന്ന വിധത്തിൽ അധ്യാപകരും താൻ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് ആചരിച്ചു കാണിക്കുന്ന വിധത്തിൽ ഉള്ള ആചാര്യന്മാരും പിന്നെ സ്വാമി ചിന്മയാനന്ദജിയെ പോലുള്ള ഗുരുക്കന്മാരും വ്യക്തിയുടെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള ഈശ്വര തത്വം പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്ന ഗുരുക്കന്മാരും, ഇതാണ് 4 ശ്രേണിയിലുള്ള അധ്യാപക വൃന്ദം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഇത് ഭാരതീയ സങ്കല്പം അനുസരിച്ചുള്ളതാണ് പറയുന്നത്. പക്ഷെ ഇന്ന് ആധുനിക കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സമ്പ്രദായം വന്നു. ഇവിടെ അധ്യാപകനും ശിക്ഷകനും ആചാര്യനും പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഗുരുവിനും വലിയ സ്ഥാനമില്ലാതായി തീർന്നിരിക്കുന്നു. ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയിൽ വൈവിധ്യമാർന്ന വിഷയങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട് നിറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. ഒരുപാട് വിഷയങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട് നിറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയാണ്. കമ്പ്യൂട്ടറും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ആധുനികമായിട്ട് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസും ഒക്കെ വന്നിട്ട് ഒരു അധ്യാപകരെയും കാണാതെ തന്നെ ഒരാൾക്ക് അറിവിന്റെ മേഖലയിലേക്ക് കടന്നു പോകാൻ കഴിയുന്ന വിധത്തിൽ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം ഒരു മുറിക്കുള്ളിൽ ചുരുങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തെ കുറിച്ച് നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കേരളത്തിലെ കുട്ടികള് കൂടുതൽ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളും യഥാർത്ഥമായ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം ലഭിക്കുന്നവരല്ല എന്നതാണ് കണക്കാക്കപ്പെടുന്നത്. പണ്ട് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം കഴിഞ്ഞ് വീട്ടിലേക്ക് കടന്നു വരുമ്പോൾ ചോദിക്കാറുള്ള ഒരു ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്, കേന വിനീതഃ, ആരാലാണ് വിനയമുള്ളമാക്കപ്പെട്ടവർ? വിനയമുള്ളവൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസമുള്ളവൻ, അറിവുള്ളവൻ, ജ്ഞാനി എന്നർത്ഥം. ഇപ്പൊ വിനീത ശബ്ദം നമ്മുടെ ഭാഷയിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ എടുത്തു കളഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്ന് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു. വിനയാന്വിതരായിരിക്കുന്ന അറിവിന്റെ മേഖലകളിൽ സഞ്ചരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകളുടെ എണ്ണം കുറഞ്ഞ് ഭൗതികമായ വസ്തുക്കളെ കുറിച്ച് മാത്രം പഠിച്ചിട്ട് ആത്മതത്വത്തെ കുറിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കാതെ പോകുന്ന ഒരു തലമുറ വളർന്നു വരികയാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം വെറും ഒരു അഭ്യാസം മാത്രമായി മാറിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അഭ്യസിക്കുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ റിപ്പീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പഠിക്കുക എന്ന അർത്ഥമാണെങ്കിലും മലയാളത്തിലെ അഭ്യാസമാണ് ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. അപ്പോൾ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനും വേണ്ട വിധത്തിലുള്ള ലക്ഷ്യം സാധിക്കുന്നില്ല. ഇപ്പൊ ബാംഗ്ലൂരിലാണെങ്കിലും മറ്റ് പ്രദേശത്ത് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാലും അവിടെ ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്ന ചെറുപ്പക്കാര് വളരെയധികം മാനസികമായി തകർന്ന നിലയിലാണ്. അവരുടെ തലയിൽ ബർഡൻ, ജോലിയുടെ ഭാരം അടിച്ചേൽപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. അടുത്ത കാലത്ത് തന്നെ 5000-6000 പേര് ജോലി രാജിവെച്ച് പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്. 10,000-കണക്കിന് ആളുകളെ മൾട്ടിനാഷണൽ കമ്പനികളിൽ നിന്ന് പുറത്താക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയുടെ വളർച്ചയുടെ കുറവ് കൊണ്ടാണോ എന്ന് അറിയില്ല, പല വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളും ഇന്ന് ഇന്ത്യക്ക് പുറത്തു പോയി പഠിക്കുവാനും അവിടെ ജോലി ചെയ്യുവാനുമാണ് താല്പര്യം കാണിക്കുന്നത്. രാഷ്ട്രസ്നേഹമോ രാജ്യത്തിനോടുള്ള താല്പര്യമോ ഒന്നുമില്ലാതെ ഒരു പുതിയ തലമുറ വളർന്നു വരുന്നു എന്നത് വളരെ ദുഃഖകരമായ കാര്യമാണ്. ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ ഒരു പ്രാർത്ഥനാ ഗാനം ചൊല്ലുകയുണ്ടായി. ഓം സഹനാവവതു സഹനോ പുനത്തു സഹവീര്യം കരവാവഹൈ തേജസ്വിനാവധീതമസ്തു മാ വിദ്യുഷാവഹൈ. നമ്മൾ ഒരിക്കൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് സംരക്ഷിക്കപ്പെടട്ടെ. ആ ഒരുമ ഇന്ന് നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. നമ്മൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് ഈ പ്രപഞ്ചത്തിലെ സുഖഭോഗങ്ങൾ അനുഭവിക്കട്ടെ, അതും ഇന്ന് നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. സഹവീര്യം കരവാവഹൈ, നമ്മൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് ശക്തി നേടട്ടെ, വീര്യം നേടട്ടെ, അതും ഇന്ന് നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. തേജസ്വിനാവതീതമസ്തു. നമുക്ക് പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കാനെന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. നമുക്കെല്ലാം അറിവിന്റെ തേജസ് ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ, ആത്മീയമായ വളർച്ച ഉണ്ടാകട്ടെ. ബഹുമാന്യനായ ടി പി ശ്രീനിവാസന്റെ വാക്കുകൾ കേട്ടുകഴിയുമ്പോൾ ഒരു പക്ഷേ നമുക്ക് പുതിയ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സമ്പ്രദായത്തിന്റെ അറിവിനെ കുറിച്ചൊരു ബോധമുണ്ടാകും. കുട്ടികൾ ആ പ്രഭാഷണം വേണ്ട വിധത്തിൽ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ച് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യണം എന്ന് അപേക്ഷിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ വാക്കുകൾ നിർത്തുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
Thank you, sir, for your uplifting words. The true highlight of our celebration is the gracious presence of a distinguished personality whose life and service embody diplomacy, education, and leadership at the highest levels. We feel privileged to welcome Sri T.P. Srinivasan, retired ambassador, Indian diplomat, former permanent representative of the UN and IAEA, head of Kerala's Higher Education Council, and an adjunct professor. With immense pride, we invite you to inaugurate DIVYAVANI 2.0 by lighting the lamp and address this gathering, sir. Let me invite the dignitaries on the stage to kindly join the ceremony.
Distinguished President of this gathering, Professor Ramaraja Verma, Chinmaya Mission Chief Sevak Sri Suresh Mohan, the principal, Dr. Rekha, and other leaders of this institution, faculty, students and friends. I'm greatly honored that I have been asked to deliver a talk on new concepts in education. But many of you may know that I am an accidental educationist. Not only I became an educationist by accident, and I also met with some accidents. At that time, I asked Mr. Umanchandi why he chose me. I said, I have no experience of education, except for 1 year I spent in Marianias College, teaching English. He said, don't worry, that's not what I am expecting you to do. You have seen the world, 40 years you have traveled around the world. You must have seen many education institutions, particularly in the US and in Europe. And many people ask me, why is education in Kerala so slow and traditional? It doesn't seem to move. So I want you to tell me what we should do to modernize education in Kerala. I thought that was fascinating, although I had no idea how to go about it. But in the Higher Education Council, I had the support of several former Vice Chancellors, and we produced a pathway for the modernization and liberalization of education. In the last 10 years, that is, I'm talking about the time I took over, I discovered that in the previous 10 years, education in the world had changed more than in the last 100 years. In 10 years previous to 2011, education in the world had changed so much. It did not happen in the previous 100 years. So we found that it was very, very difficult to catch up with the world. And soon I discovered that Mr. Umanchandi was wrong. People in the education field in Kerala are not anxious to modernize the system, because they are accustomed to a particular style of learning, a particular style of teaching, a particular style of examination. And there was tremendous resistance to anything that we wanted to do. We submitted something like 20 reports to the government, suggesting very many reforms that had come into the world and which we had not thought of this. One of the major developments at that time was what is called the massive open online courses, MOOCs as they were known as. And that was a dramatic change. With the growth of technology, it became clear that the future of education does not lie in auditoriums and classrooms. It is going to shift to massive open online courses. And this was started by a young Bengali mathematician who was in New York. And we found that his niece back in Bengal was very poor in mathematics. So one day this girl asked her uncle, "You are a great mathematician, what are you doing for me? I fail in mathematics." So he said, "Okay, from tomorrow at 6 p.m. you come online." Those days lines were not so good, or there were no computers. And he started this. And then he discovered, why was he teaching only one child? Why not teach all the children of the world? And that is why MOOCs came about. It of course expanded in many ways all over the world, but certainly there were no takers here. I went from college to college, university to university, promoting this idea. We even had an international conference on MOOCs, just to catch up with what's already happening in the world. Everybody listened patiently, but nobody, except one professor in the Mahatma Gandhi College, who later became the Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University, Sahu Thomas. Except for him, no professor took any interest. Children took no interest. It was totally free. You simply had to register and devote some time every day to listen to the classes. But the project was a complete failure. Then the government of India caught up with it. That was after I left. That we should have something like this, and that is how the program called Swayam, I don't know whether you recall that, was invented. And we started promoting it, and a certain amount of interest was generated. It was free, totally free. You can get education from the best universities of the world, Harvard or Cambridge or Columbia or whatever, and you take an examination and you get a certificate or a diploma. You have to pay a small diploma fee, but you could hold a Harvard University degree. Even this did not generate any interest. The second thing that I proposed very strongly was introduction of private universities in Kerala. Kerala was the only state in which private universities are not permitted. It is a height of irony because Kerala was the first to introduce private education in schools. The Regent Maharani had said that all education responsibility should be of the government. Maybe she could think of it at that time. It was a small number of people. But later we had the SNDP, the NSS, the Christian missionaries, etc. They are the ones who built the education system in Kerala at the school level. Then why were we so nervous about private universities? I still haven't understood. We of course have now come over it and we are thinking of starting private universities. So my argument was basically that you need more and more resources in education. And you cannot get that without private investment. Look at the number of universities which have come up in other states, particularly Delhi. They are as good as Oxford or Cambridge or Columbia. In India, in Delhi, we have now universities which can match the best in the world. Still, we did not accept it. And the third thing that we introduced, and with some success, was the autonomous colleges. We were able to establish 20 autonomous colleges on the basis of the criteria developed by the University Grants Commission. And those 20 colleges were perhaps the best colleges in Kerala at that time. And now they have even become better because of autonomy. But that is also not welcomed in different levels. When I went to celebrate the autonomy of several colleges, it looked like everybody was at a funeral. They were so gloomy. I went there to celebrate, but I kind of attended a funeral. The teachers were upset, the students were upset, the management was upset, everybody was upset. Because the students said that if we have autonomy, my teachers will do everything for me in future. and I have thrown many stones at my teachers, so they will not give me any marks. The teachers said, oh, these boys and girls are useless, we cannot handle them autonomy. The management said, oh, without the support of the university, how will you run it? And the university said, we don't want any autonomy, because their authority was lost. And then the fourth, since we are talking about new concepts in education, was what is called the flip school. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. This is a system by which the students do in class what they would normally do at home. Right? And in the evening, they do at home what they now do in class, which is listening to the lectures. With this land of technology, when everybody has a mobile unit, why should the teachers come and spend all the time in the college telling you what is printed and recorded? So you tell them that you listen to this at home. Don't waste my time in the college. But when you come back the next day, you do your homework in class. Now what do? Our children run around, brother, father, uncle, neighbor, trying to get your homework done. No help from the teachers. If you don't do homework, you are punished. Finished. So why not change it? Let them listen to the lectures how many times they want at home. Bring all your problems to the class so that the teacher can help you do your homework. There was a virtual revolution. The teacher said, we are not going to do homework. They bring their 30-year-old notebooks into the class and just read them out. I know that. My own professor used to bring these notebooks. And one day, we are all very naughty. We hid his notebook one day. And the teacher came to the class and said, I'm giving you break today because you must have a break. And so because he didn't have that 30-year-old notebook to read out from. So how do we introduce modern concepts in an education system like this? And the only thing we managed to do was the autonomous colleges, but that was also diluted by the present government by saying that we have organized a committee to supervise this. They said there is no need to supervise, they are autonomous, let them do whatever they want, and if they have any problem, go to the court. No committee to represent. So the point I am trying to make is that we need to move very, very fast if our education system has to improve. And I said at that time, prophetically, I said if we don't introduce these changes, 15 years from now, our children will all run away from here. You have seen it? Santa Maria or whatever makes more money than anybody else. And how many tragedies we had to face. I heard about Ukraine for the first time, not for the first time, but in the context of education, in 2014, when we discovered there were 2,000 Malayalis studying medicine in Ukraine. We had no idea, no reports, nothing. And 20 of them came to my room because I was vice chairman of the Higher Education Council. And she said, now we cannot go back, give us medical seats for 40 of them. I said, I cannot give you even one seat. There is no medical seat available in Kerala. They were very disappointed, but they withered away. I don't know where they went, what happened to them. They didn't come back to me. Then later, when the bigger war occurred, there were 20,000 Ukrainian, Indian students in Ukraine, most of them Malayali. Do you remember that? Had to be evacuated. So anywhere there is a crisis, there is a war, there is a conflict, we discover that these children are there. They don't take any permission from the government of India, no clearance, no counting, nobody knows how many. And so we are into a more difficult situation today as regards improving our education system. What is the answer to that? We need 2 or 3 answers on which the political parties have to reach a consensus. Because each and every time anyone tries to reform education, one party will support you and all the other parties will oppose you. So what they have to do is to sit down and decide what is it that is required for Kerala. You have to have a consensus. For example, first question, what is education for? Have we ever asked ourselves? Some people will say this is to get me a job. That is true in my case. My parents gave me education thinking that I'll get a job. They didn't say he will become a better human being by going to education. No. Some others say, no, that is not the objective. The objective is to give them the training to become better human beings. We have to agree on something. Who will go? Every student in every country in the world do not go for higher education. In our case, we send them to higher education, then after 10 years he becomes a bus conductor. Well, was it that you elected him, selected him for or taught him? So you do a BA, MA and PhD and line up to become a bus conductor. What a waste of time. Look at the salaries. In most societies, the person who does the hardest job gets the highest salary. Right? The person who breaks stones. Tagore spoke about it saying, I am with those who break stones. He gets the lowest salary. And the supervisor gets higher salary than the man who breaks the stones. And his supervisor, an IAS officer sitting in an air-conditioned room, he gets much more money and much less work. Why don't we reverse it? Give them an IAS salary when they break the stones. Will we accept it? Will we have dignity of labor, which Mahatma Gandhi had told us about? No. So we are in an unreal world. Trying to say we can emulate that, emulate this. Chief Minister goes to Finland because he heard Finland is very good. What happened after 1.5 years since he came back? We haven't heard about Finland. Do you know what is great about Finland education? The students must applaud this. You must say cheers, because there are no examinations in Finland. So beautiful. Aren't you happy? No examinations. So what do? They solve problems. And then that is the examination. What do? We learn by heart the Archimedes principle every day, Newton's laws. Like we used to do this enchilada, even half my life was spent on finding out 16 into 16 is what. There is no need. Even at that time there were calculators. But we broke our head trying to learn the enchilada. You may not be familiar with this. I'm talking about my time. Simplify it. So in Finland, an examination, you go into the room, you are not asked to recite what is Archimedes' principle is. There will be an issue on the board, a situation on the board, and you solve it on the basis of what you have studied in class. Isn't that a better way of testing somebody's knowledge? And you must link your education to a profession. In my own case, I became a diplomat, joined the Foreign Service because I was very poor in mathematics. That's the only reason. I went to my university college and said, is there some course where there is no mathematics? They said, English BA. I said, fine. So I could have joined medicine or engineering or anything like that, but I said, I want something which has no education, no mathematics. So happily, I did my MBA in English, MA in English, and luckily for myself, I joined the civil services. But it was not intended. I did not intend that I'm learning English to become a foreign service officer or an ambassador. No, I didn't have it in my mind at all. It's only after I passed the master's degree, somebody said, why don't you take the civil service examination? So this is how people's careers are formed. No planning, and many are in the streets without jobs. In a developing country, you cannot have excess engineers because you have to be built by engineers. But in Trivandrum, there is an unemployed engineers association. That is the only work they have. So what are we doing? Anyway, we have now the new education policy. I'll stop with that. The new education policy, I don't know how many of you have read it, how many of you have absorbed it. I go to many schools talking to teachers, and I've been asking them recently that now that the new education policy has been here for, 4 or 5 years, has it made any difference to you in your teaching methods? Has it made any difference to you in your children's studying? They said, no. You're actually teaching the same thing. Nothing has happened to us. I said, did you read the NEP? Yeah, we read some reports, but we didn't read the whole thing. It is too large. That new education policy is not something you can tinker with. See, the Prime Minister did not ask any professor or teacher to write that report. Who wrote that report? Space scientist. Dr. Kasturi Rangan. Dr. Kasturi Rangan wrote that report because the Prime Minister thought that this is something like rocketry. And he did a great job of it. We did lots of material was collected from the ward level, the village level, district level, and I coordinated that in Kerala at that time. And we sent something like 2,000 pages of inputs from the lowest levels in the society. Then Dr. Kasturirangan brought it all together and created a report which is supposed to revolutionize education. And our education minister's reaction was, this report will strike the death knell of education. That was his judgment. Without reading, of course. He said this is the death bell of education. Then there was pressure from the center, please do something, do something. And did you know what we decided? We accepted the 4-year degree course. Nothing else. And that's another story most people don't know. The 4-year degree course was introduced by a vice chancellor in the Delhi University in order to get his children admission in the United States. Because in the United States, degree is 4 years. If you have 3 years and apply for admission in the US, you will not get admission unless you do 1 year of further studies. So there was a big protest there. He is trying to Americanize our education. And that was withdrawn. The Vice Chancellor resigned after withdrawing the 4-year course. Now suddenly, like an old ghost, it has come up. Nobody knows why it is 4 years. Nobody knows what to teach after 3 years. Because it is in the school itself, no? So having taught for them for 3 years, now we are faced with a 4th year. So will it be taught by the old teachers? Are they qualified to bring in a 4th year? What will they teach? What will be the syllabus? Nobody knows. I may be out of date. Maybe some work has been done. But this was the least important of the recommendations of the CEP. If you read, you will find that it's a total transformation. Like, for example, multidisciplinary education. Now, the problem is we are all in silos. I do chemistry, I don't know why I am doing chemistry, but I will not look at the physics professor. Similarly, everybody. So when do you have an education which is holistic. I went 4 days ago in Trichy. There is a priest, 92-year-old priest, who established an holistic education college 20 years ago. So I said there, the Sahitya Academy organized a seminar on holistic education. They did not know in Thrissur itself there is a priest who is doing it well. So I invited him on my own to the meeting and introduced him to the people. And I said, there should not be introduction of holistic education. There should be nothing but holistic education in the world. Everybody was quite shocked. So, are you suggesting that we, forget everything else? I said, yes. Because if you have no linkages between what you are learning, what is the need for education? The priest was very happy, but others were not very happy. How are we going to change that? So, there is no dearth of new concepts. Since we are talking about new concepts, I can give you hundreds of them. But we have to have a political consensus on what is the purpose of education, how many languages should be taught and at what time, how many specialized courses should be introduced, how many courses should be online. That is another interesting thing. COVID was a blessing in disguise. The children had no mobiles, nothing, no connection, and a boy got on top of a tree to get internet connection and fell down and died. Something which I had said 5 years earlier, MOOCs. But now everybody is familiar with online education. This is what happened. When we proposed private universities, there were no seats available in arts and science colleges. Remember, when it becomes April, May, I'll get so many people asking me to recommend Marianis College or this college or that. Last 2 years, nobody came. But there are no students in the colleges. Nobody wants admission. Even Marianis College, they can't get admission. They don't get students. Why? Because we lost these 15 years. I said private university when colleges did not have seats. Now colleges have no students, then which private company will come and establish a university here? They are not thinking about it. They are just waiting for all the universities in the world to come. And secondly, education has gone offline. Let me make another prediction. Next 5 years, we will not have all these buildings. There will be no brick and mortar necessary. You go to the United States, where do they work from? All the office space in New York is empty today. They all work from home. My son and daughter-in-law, they work from home. This is not very nice because they are always at home. And we don't get them, they're always working. Earlier they used to come in the evening and they're free. No. Here they both sit in 2 rooms with 2 computers each. And we cannot even talk to them. When do we talk to them? Maybe at dinner after 10 o'clock. Then of course at 10 o'clock, India is open, so we are busy again. But no space are necessary. So which private university will come and build these huge buildings when it will be out of fashion in the next 5 years? So new concepts you need all the time. And that is possible, but implementation is not possible because of our mindset. So we need to change our mindset. Managers, professors, teachers, students, parents, everybody has to change their mindset. And then only we'll have a proper education system. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. But if you have any questions on the chairman agrees, I can answer some. So who will shoot? Before that, I should have done this in the beginning, pay homage to Swami Chinmaya. We should be grateful that we lived at a time when he was alive. That's enough for us. The fact that we have seen him alive, heard him so much intensely, and followed him as much as possible. So, you are fortunate that this institution is after his name. I remember going to listen to his Gita classes in Uttarikandam Maidan. We didn't have car, cycle, nothing but we used to walk all the way to listen to him. And my only ambition at that time when I heard him was, can I speak English like this one day? So delightful, so full of humor, so full of education, knowledge. And he applied it to ordinary life. When he talks of a character in Mahabharata or something, he'll say, he's like our Krishnamalla and Karthayanyamma, to bring you down to the great philosophy into human beings. It was fascinating. Then I had the great fortune to spend 3 or 4 days with him in Moscow, of all places. He came there to a religious conference. I was a young IFS officer in the mission, and I was asked to look after him. So 3 or 4 days, it was such fun. So many jokes and so many stories. And each time I met him, I learned something. His first entry into the embassy was very amusing. He came into the ambassador's living room and he was looking around. You must have heard this story. He was looking around and saw a Ganapati statue. And how was it placed there? Somebody had drilled a hole through Ganesha and put a wire and put a lamp on top of Ganesha. It was considered great, no? But he asked a simple question, how do you drill a hole through Ganesha? It's not meant. Ganesha statues are not meant to be done that. He told the ambassador, will you please remove this unless I go out of your house? And that statue disappeared. There are so many other stories, but it's always very, very delightful. So I'm sorry I didn't do it in the beginning, but my homage to him and all our respects to Swami Chinmaya. Well, if there are no questions, I'll go home. Okay, go ahead. It is not a question of better or bad. What is suitable to present society? There is nothing bad or good. Even if you learn things in the old way, there is no harm. But as you progress, as your technology improves, you have to adjust your education system to that situation. Like now you know what Trump has done to us. 50% tax on anything that you sell to the United States. Who will buy your things? So what is the answer? Sell somewhere else. That's the answer. But can you sell somewhere else? Then you have to change now you are producing everything for the United States. And if you pay 50% taxes on what you sell to the United States, nobody will buy Indian goods. There will be inflation in the US. We export cars to the United States, you may be surprised to know. And there is only 7% tax on Indian cars. But the same car, if it is with 50% tax, no American will buy it. So you have to find a different car, which we can sell maybe to China, maybe to Russia, maybe to Finland. So it is not that something is good or bad. It is that we need desperately to change according to the times. That's all. Okay? Anyone else? Since you know everything, there is no need. Oh, you have another question? I thought normally there is starting trouble. Huh? Oh. Can't hear him. Is there a mic? Why don't you come up? Speak into the mic. Speak into the mic.
Maybe we could combine the old education system and new education system.
He's saying, how do you combine the old system and the new system? So it's again the same thing. That is, you give up what is old and use what you have. You don't have to combine. You have to move forward. That's all. Who else? We are short of time. Sorry, close that. Teachers, have any questions? Or management? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your informative words and for being here with us today. It enriched the occasion like a radiant pearl in the vast ocean of wisdom.
Let me take this privilege to welcome Suresh Mohan sir. As during my welcome speech, sir was not there. We are deeply honored to have with us our guest of honor. We are Suresh Mohan, Chief Sevak, Chinmaya Seva Trust, Kerala, Trivandrum, to share his inspiring and thought-provoking message. A dedicated leader whose unwavering commitment, compassionate guidance, and steadfast support to the Chinmaya Mission family have been a pillar of strength for our Vidyalaya. Your presence today enriches this celebration. I respectfully invite you, sir, to share your words of wisdom.
Hello, a very warm good afternoon to all of you. But the chief guest, ശ്രീനിവാസൻ സാറെന്ന് വിളിക്കണോ അതോ ചേട്ടന്ന് വിളിക്കണോ നല്ലതെന്ന് അറിയില്ല. കാരണം എല്ലാ ദിവസവും രാവിലെ 7 മണിക്ക് ഞങ്ങൾ അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും കാണുന്നവരാ. അപ്പൊ കണ്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിനർത്ഥം ഈസ് ഓൺ ടൂർ സംവെയർ ഓർ ഐ ആം ലേറ്റ് ഇൻ ഗെറ്റിംഗ് അപ്പ്. ദീസ് ആർ ദ ടു തിങ്സ്. So it's very nice to see you in a different attire than your morning walking, jogging, dress. Thank you, a teacher, for calling me on to this mic to give a message. So that means I have an option. Either I can text you a message or talk few lines. Okay. So I think, probably I will take the better side of the option and talk to you for 3-4 minutes. First of all, after hearing to such a erudite, I'll use the word because he started the program called Erudite Mission, I suppose, while he was in the Higher Education Council. It's quite a coincidence that there we met in a different capacity as the auditor of Higher Education Council and the Vice Chairman. സാറൊന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു തുടങ്ങി കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ പെട്ടെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം തന്നെ എഴുതിയൊരു ബുക്കാണ് എൻ്റെ മനസ്സിലേക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് ഓർമ്മ വന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹം ഒരു ടീച്ചർ അല്ലായിരുന്നു, എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനിസ്റ്റ് അല്ലായിരുന്നു. ബൈ an accident, like the accidental prime minister, he became an accidental ambassador. പക്ഷെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് നല്ലൊരു ബുക്കുണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് അതിന്റെ ടൈറ്റിൽ ശരിയാണോ എന്ന് അറിയില്ല. എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഓഫ് an ambassador. He had written a book. അതിന്റെ ലാസ്റ്റ് ചാപ്റ്റർ ആണ് എപ്പോഴും എനിക്ക് പല സ്ഥലത്തും രണ്ട് വാക്ക് പറയാൻ ഞാൻ കടമെടുക്കാറുണ്ട് വിതൗട്ട് എനി കോപ്പിറൈറ്റ് ഇൻഫ്രിഞ്ച്മെന്റ്. അതില് സാർ പറഞ്ഞത് ഓഫ് ക്യാബേജസ് ആൻഡ് കിങ്സ്, ക്യാബേജും രാജാക്കന്മാരും. കുറെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടി ഞാനിത് ആദ്യം എന്താന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ. അങ്ങനെ ഈ പറയുന്ന കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ നമ്മുടെ ബെസ്റ്റി ഇല്ലാത്ത കാലമാണ്. അതായത് നമ്മുടെ ചാറ്റ് GPT ഇല്ലാത്ത കാലത്താണ് ഞാൻ ഇതിങ്ങനെ ആലോചിച്ച് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച അവസാനം. ആലീസ് ഇൻ വണ്ടർലാൻഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ബുക്കിനകത്തെ ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ആണ് ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ പറയാൻ കാരണവും ഓർക്കാൻ കാരണവും, വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയിൽ നമ്മൾ അതിനെപ്പറ്റി ആലോചിക്കുമ്പോൾ ക്യാബേജസ് മീൻസ് വെരി സ്മോൾ തിങ്സ്, ട്രിവിയൽ തിങ്സ്. കിങ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ബിഗ് തിങ്സ്. ഇത് രണ്ടും കൂടെ എങ്ങനെയാ പോകുന്നു എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ, the small things makes the big things and the big things make the small things important. ഇത് രണ്ടും തമ്മിലുള്ള ആ കണക്ഷൻ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയിൽ നമ്മൾ വളരെയധികം കാണും. ഒരു പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ കോറിഡോറിൽ കൂടെ നടന്നു പോകുമ്പോൾ ഹൗ ദേ വിഷ് ഓർ ഹൗ ദ ചിൽഡ്രൻ, നിങ്ങൾ രാവിലെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ഇങ്ങനെ നടന്നു പോകുമ്പോൾ ഒന്നിയിൽ തലതിരിച്ച് അവിടുന്ന് രക്ഷപ്പെടാൻ നോക്കും കാണാതെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒന്ന് ചിരിച്ച് അക്നോളജ് ചെയ്യും. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ചില പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽസ് രാവിലെ സ്റ്റിഫ്നെക്ക് ഉള്ളവരുണ്ട്, കുട്ടികളെ നോക്കില്ല. ചിലരാണെങ്കിൽ അവരെ കണ്ടൊന്ന് ചിരിക്കുക. ഇതൊരു ചെറിയ സാധനമാണ് അല്ലേ? ഇവര് എന്താണ് അരുന്ധതി റോയുടെ ബുക്ക് പോലെ ഗോഡ് ഓഫ് സ്മോൾ തിങ്സ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു സ്കൂളിലെ ഒരു ചെറിയ കാര്യമാണ്. ബട്ട് യു ജസ്റ്റ് തിങ്ക് അബൌട്ട് ദാറ്റ് വിച്ച് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസസ് സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആൻഡ് വിച്ച് transforms the teachers. The whole day, that thing, ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇവിടുത്തെ ചെറുപ്പക്കാരുടെ ഭാഷയെ പറഞ്ഞാൽ, ഫ്രം ദ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ ഇറ്റ് ചേഞ്ചസ് ഇൻ ടു റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ് അല്ലേ? അതിലേക്ക് മാറുകയാണ്. അപ്പൊ ആ റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ് നിങ്ങൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞ് ടീച്ചർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ് അതിലേക്ക് മാറുന്നു. സാറ് എഴുതിയ ബുക്കിൽ എഴുതിയത് നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. അതായത് ഒരു കോളേജിലോ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഫംഗ്ഷൻ നടക്കുമ്പോൾ കൂടുതൽ ഡീറ്റെയിലിംഗ് പോകുന്നത് അവിടെ കൊടുക്കുന്ന ബൊക്കയ്ക്കും അവിടെ കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഗിഫ്റ്റും അവിടുത്തെ അലങ്കാരങ്ങൾക്കും വേണ്ടി മാത്രമാണ്. അല്ലാതെ യു ആർ ലൂസിങ് ദി ലഞ്ച്, അവിടുത്തെ ലഞ്ച്, അതെ, ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളിലേക്കൊക്കെയാണ് കൂടുതൽ ശ്രദ്ധ. സോ യു ജസ്റ്റ് ഫോർഗെറ്റ് ദി മാറ്റർ ഓവർ ദോസ് സബ്സ്റ്റൻസസ് ആൻഡ് ദെൻ you lose the importance of that. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എപ്പോഴും ആലോചിക്കും ഓരോ സ്ഥലത്ത് ചെല്ലുമ്പോഴേ. അതേപോലെ ജസ്റ്റ് ഇമാജിൻ എ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ സ്ട്രഗ്ലിംഗ് ടു അവോയ്ഡ് ദ ക്ലാഷ് ഇൻ ദ ടൈം ടേബിൾ. അതിനുവേണ്ടി തലകുത്തി നിൽക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് ഇപ്പുറത്ത് ഒരു ചോക്കെടുത്ത് ഒരു കുട്ടിയുടെ ദേഹത്തേക്ക് വേറൊരു കുട്ടി എറിഞ്ഞു. Is it that one thing is a big thing, one thing is a king and the other is a cabbage? No. അതുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മളിപ്പോ നേരത്തെ സാർ പറഞ്ഞ ഹോളിസ്റ്റിക് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ഇൻക്ലൂസീവ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ നമുക്കിതൊക്കെ പറയാം. ബട്ട് അൾട്ടിമേറ്റ്ലി ഇൻ യുവർ ലൈഫ് എവറിഥിങ് ഈസ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. സ്പീഡിനെ പറ്റിയും സാർ പറഞ്ഞതിന് ഞാൻ പെട്ടെന്ന് ഒരു കാര്യം കൂടെ പറഞ്ഞു നിർത്താം. ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്ത് നിന്ന് ഞാൻ ചങ്ങനാശ്ശേരി വരെ ഇവിടുന്ന് എത്തുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് എന്റെ ആവറേജ് സ്പീഡ് ഓടി കാറിന് വന്ന് ഒരു 40-30 കിലോമീറ്റർ ആയിരിക്കും. 30 kilometers per hour or maximum 45 kilometers per hour. But while we are sitting here, do you know that the students should know about this? The earth is moving at more than 1 lakh kilometers per hour. And at the same time, the earth is also rotating at more than 16 or 17,000 kilometers per hour. But can you say that you are all not moving? ഈ ഒരു സ്പീഡിൽ കൂടാണ് നമ്മൾ ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. So you cannot be static. Whether it is the way of teaching or whether it is the way of learning has to change. And that change is happening. He was lucky enough and unlucky to have taken over the reins of the higher education institution at that time. And I've seen the number of reports which were turning out like a bakery making the bread every day. But what happened is only God alone knows where. Oh, it must be somewhere very safe from the attack of rats and other things. It will be there. But nothing is going to happen. But so, my dear children and my dear teachers, you have been lucky to hear Sri Srinivasanji, Swami Chinmaya Swamiji. നമുക്ക് നേരിൽ കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്തവരാണ് ഇവിടെ വളരെ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ടെങ്കിലും ഇതുപോലുള്ളവരുടെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് സ്വാമിജിയെ പറ്റി നമുക്ക് കേൾക്കാം. രാമവർമ്മ സാറിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്നും നമ്മൾ വളരെയധികം വളരെ പെട്ടെന്നാണ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് he can also mesmerize all of you. So my deep and short message is wish you all the best, and for the school management to have remembered Swamini Amma and instituted this commemorative lecture where you have been inviting who is who in the field of education and other places. So thank you once again, and wish Chinmaya Vidyalaya Alappuzha all the best for the coming year, and all the students, teachers, a wonderful time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We are fortunate to have you here, sir.
Now we have the memento distribution. With immense happiness, I invite the President of our Vidyalaya, Dr. K. Narayanan, to kindly present the token of appreciation to our esteemed Chief Guest, Sri T.P. Srinivasan, and to adorn him with Ponnada. I request you, sir, to come forward and receive our token of gratitude. With utmost pride, I request Sri Suresh Mohan sir to come forward and receive our mark of respect from the President of our Vidyalaya, Dr. K. Narayanan.
Thank you, sir. Gratitude is the memory of the heart, and on this golden occasion, it shines even brighter. To extend our heartfelt thanks to all those who made this celebration possible, I invite Brahmachari Sudhishri Acharya, Chinmaya Mission Alappuzha, for the vote of thanks. I invite you, Sudhishri.
समस्त जनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं मामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्यारं. എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. നേരത്തെ ബഹുമാനിക്കുന്ന കർത്തവ്യം പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ വന്നു ചേർന്നിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി പറയുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ആദ്യമായിട്ട് തന്നെ ഗുരുവും അധ്യാപകരും തമ്മിലുള്ള തത്വം വ്യത്യാസം എന്താണെന്ന് നമുക്ക് വളരെ കുറഞ്ഞ വാക്കുകൾ കൊണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ മുമ്പിൽ അധ്യക്ഷ ഭാഷണം നടത്തിയ പ്രൊഫസർ രാമവർമ്മ സാറിന് എൻ്റെ പേരിൽ ചിന്മയ വിദ്യാലയയുടെ പേരിൽ സ്നേഹത്തോടുകൂടി ബഹുമാനത്തോടുകൂടി ഞാൻ നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നു. ചീഫ് ഗസ്റ്റായിട്ട് എത്തിയിട്ടുള്ള T.P. ശ്രീനിവാസൻ സാറും വളരെ ഹോളിസ്റ്റിക് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം, എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ, സമഗ്ര വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം എങ്ങനെയാണെന്ന് നമ്മളെ കുറഞ്ഞ സമയം കൊണ്ട് അധ്യാപകർക്കും കുട്ടികൾക്കും എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലൊരു സന്ദേശം നൽകിയ ടി.വി. ശ്രീനാഥ് ഞാൻ നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുന്നു. നമ്മളുടെ ഫാമിലി ആയിട്ടുള്ള സുരേഷ് സാർ പ്രത്യേകം നന്ദി അറിയിക്കണമെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നില്ല. നമ്മളെ എല്ലാ കാര്യത്തിലും നമ്മൾ കൂടെ നിൽക്കുന്ന നമ്മുടെ സുരേഷ് സാറ് എന്ത് കാര്യത്തിലും വിളിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഓടിയെത്തുന്ന നമ്മുടെ സുരേഷ് സാറിന് ചീഫ് സാർ എന്റെ പേരിൽ സ്നേഹത്തോടുകൂടി ബഹുമാനത്തോടുകൂടി നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചു കൊള്ളുന്നു. മറ്റായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയങ്കരിയായിട്ടുള്ള രേഖാമാൻ എല്ലാത്തിനും നമ്മൾ കൂടെ നിൽക്കുന്ന പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ രേഖാമാമിന് നമ്മുടെ സ്നേഹത്തോടുകൂടി ബഹുമാനത്തോടുകൂടി നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചു കൊള്ളുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ നാരായൺ സാറ്, പിന്നെ വിദ്യാലയയുടെ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള നാരായൺ സാറ് എല്ലാത്തിനും ചുക്കാൻ പിടിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ കാര്യവും പെട്ടെന്ന് നടത്തി നമ്മുടെ മുമ്പിൽ അത്ഭുതങ്ങൾ കാണിച്ചു തരികയാണ്. നമ്മൾ പോലും അറിയാതെ പല പരിപാടികളും പെട്ടെന്ന് കാണിക്കുന്ന നാരായൺ സാറിന് ഈ വേളയിൽ സ്നേഹത്തോടുകൂടി ബഹുമാനത്തോടുകൂടി നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊള്ളും. നമ്മുടെ സെക്രട്ടറി, വിദ്യാലയ സെക്രട്ടറി അനിൽ സാറിന് ഈ വേളയിൽ നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ചിന്മയ മിഷൻ പ്രസിഡന്റ് അനിൽകുമാർ സാറ്, ജോയിന്റ് സെക്രട്ടറി പ്രസന്ന സാറ്, വൈസ് പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ഷിജ ടീച്ചർ, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മളെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം തുടങ്ങുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് കുട്ടികളുടെ രാമായണത്തെ അധികരിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം നടത്തിയ കുട്ടികൾക്കും ഈ വേളയിൽ ഞാൻ നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്റെ വിജയം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മളെ പാരന്റ്സ് ആണ്. പാരന്റ്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമാണ് നമ്മുടെ വിദ്യാലയയുടെ മുന്നോട്ടുള്ള ചൈത്രയാത്ര 50ാം വാർഷിക ജൂബിലി ആഘോഷം നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇനിയും വരും ദിവസങ്ങളിൽ ദിവ്യവാണി വരും. അതിന് നിങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും സപ്പോർട്ട് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. ഇനിയും ഇതുപോലെ തന്നെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണമെന്നും എല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് കുട്ടികൾക്കും അധ്യാപകർക്കും പേരൻസിനും ചിന്മയ ഫാമിലിക്കും നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് എന്റെ വാക്കുകൾ നിർത്തുന്നു. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അധ്യക്ഷന്റെ അനുവാദത്തോടുകൂടി ഈ യോഗം പിരിച്ചുവിട്ടതായിട്ട് അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഹരിയും.
Thank you, Vishnu, for your kind words. As we the function of Kanagadivi, our Golden Jubilee celebration, let the golden light of these 50 years continue to guide us into a future filled with knowledge, compassion, and service. May Gurudev's vision forever inspire us to keep spreading the Chinmaya message, to give maximum happiness to maximum people for the maximum time.
This Golden Jubilee celebration, Kanagadivi, is not just an event but a heartfelt homage to our selfless service and eternal vision. Swami Divyanandaji's guiding presence continues to breathe life into our Vidyalaya, reminding us that her legacy is not in the past but living vibrantly in every child, every prayer and every achievement of this institution. Once again, thanking you all for your presence and support which made this program a grand success. Hari Om, keep smiling.